Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday. How are we doing tonight? Let me get up my other screen here. Boom. How are things in your world tonight? Why is Facebook being funny with me? Hello, where's my groups page? Sometimes Facebook is just bonkers on me. Let's try this. There we are. Hello, Kitty. Hello, Adele. Sorry about that. Facebook was being wonky with me. Didn't want me to see everything. A decent day. We had a burr day. It was so cold here. So windy. We actually had a door at one location blow completely out off its hinges. It was crazy. Never seen anything like it. Never had anything break in such a way. It was crazy. Hello, Texas. Yes, I heard Texas is open for business, and now is mask free in Texas, is what I hear. Yay, Vicky! All right, congratulations. I am glad you got that money today. That is awesome. Hey, Jennifer, great to have you here. I am very happy about that. I am very happy that you got your PPP money there. Vicky, that is good news. That makes you the queen of the South. I'm just saying. The queen of the South was her PPP. Hey, Martha, hey, how are you tonight? Great to have you here. Step right through that. We're going to step through that tonight. Tell me what you're all grateful for tonight. I know Vicky's grateful she got her PPP, and that is a good thing. I am glad to hear that. I'm glad that even though we had a door blow off one of our locations today, by the end of the day, I'd forgotten completely about it. Cassandra asked me on the way home tonight, she's like, well, whatever happened with the door? And I'm like, door? And I'm like, you know, I deal with things and I move forward. I don't harp on them. I don't let them weigh on me. I deal with it and I move forward. And that was so many hours before that I had forgotten that I had that issue and that I resolved it. Facebook has me jumping all around. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Because I'm not jumping. I'm standing still. I haven't moved a lot. But can you hear me tonight? Facebook has been weird lately. I don't know what to do with it. I've been looking at, or my peanut galleries. That is good, Martha. I'm glad that it's on its way to you as well. But I don't know what to do with Facebook lately. I've been looking at other broadcast mediums, or my peanut gallery has, so that we could that would be more stable than Facebook has been lately. But there's not a lot of great answers for it. So hopefully at least my audio is coming through okay, Kitty. Because nobody signs up to see this face. Nobody signs up to see this face. You just want to hear what I have to talk about. I have a face for radio. But I am glad to hear all this good stuff happening in your all's world tonight. That does make me feel good. That there is a lot of good going on. That things are happening, and that is good. And sales are coming. You know, I mean, even today with all the wind. I mean, today was brutal here in the Northeast. It was just, the wind was howling all day long. But that's bringing in nice weather again tomorrow. So, not tomorrow, I think, is going to be near 50 and sunshine, which again, people in good mood. So, I'll take it. I will sign up for that. Grateful for a good sales day. That's what I like to hear, Rose. That's what I want to hear happening in that safari. What did I do with my glasses? All the way over here. I found him. All right. Let's get this party started with the Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this party every night. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start. Tonight, if you're following along in the book, we're on page 184. 184. Good morning. Courage, even when the panic's at the back of your throat. Courage. Let's go. Let's go. We were talking this morning. Today's Dr. Seuss's birthday. That maybe I should have pulled out a Dr. Seuss book as a memoir of when we started this. When I started this, till we landed on the Good Morning, Good Night book, I was doing all sorts of things, and Dr. Seuss was one of them. And when you all made me rhyme and go with that. But hey, here we are in week 50-51. I mean, you guys are doing amazing. Amazing. You're still standing. This is awesome. Awesome that we're here. You're getting your second round of PPPs, those of you that are eligible, which is great. Do need to remember that idle payments will be starting for some of you in a month. Payments on idles will start being due in a month, but that's okay. That's okay. That idle's insurance, okay, and helping us all get to the other side. So I'm okay with that because it's not about a loan. It's about survival and about getting to the other side. I have had a lot of questions and things today on unemployment and workers' comp rates in various states. So that's been a topic. And some of you are getting notices that your unemployment insurance is going to go through the roof, thousands of dollars more. And it really depends on the state. Where states are with that. Most states, all the states understand that they have an obligation to hold unemployment rates down, okay, and that the unemployment issues that were created because of the pandemic shouldn't be charged to businesses, but how states are dealing with them is entirely different from state to state. Some states are just billing last year's rate, okay, whatever your rate was before the pandemic. Some states are billing you like they're charging you for it at all. Some states have made legislation that won't allow that to happen. Every state's in a different phase of where they are with it, and some of them are making you really fight to get that removed, but fight you should, because the pandemic was not your fault, the furloughing of employees was not your fault, and there's a process, and each state is different. So I can't just put up a blanket sheet and say this is how to do it. But I can tell you that each and every state is there and doing it, and so you have to look at it and work on it on an individual basis. Just don't blatantly pay the bill. Feel free to argue it, and you should, because you're not. This is not of your doing. This is not of your doing, and the states get that, and so it's disheartening that they're making you jump through hoops, but hoops you will jump through. Hoops you will jump through to get to the other side of this. Yes, you will. We can all jump through hoops and get to the other side. Yeah, a blur is a good term for the last year, Rose. It is a blur. It is a blur, but part of that is a good blur because you're just moving forward. You're just moving yourself forward through this. And, to keep on moving forward, you have to be a blur. Just like I talked about with our door blowing off today at one of our locations. And, not only did the door blowing off create a huge sound, the wind continuing to blow, it was awful. But, it was really for a point in the car on the way home when Cassandra was asking me about this. I'm like, what door? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I started my day, with a door blowing off a store. And I had forgotten completely about it because I dealt with it. Okay, I dealt with it. I got a guy there. They repaired it. It was, all taken care of relatively quickly. And I forgot. I even have pictures of it. She's like, you post pictures of it? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to do that too. But, it's not you deal with it and you move forward. And that's sort of this last year. You're taking the next step and the next step, and you're not worrying about the steps behind you. You can't worry about the steps you've already taken. And you can't worry about the next 5 steps you have to take. You're just taking that next step. And that's what we've been doing for 50 and 51 weeks here. You have been doing exactly that. I think tonight is, let me just double check here. Hang on one second. Hang on, tonight, actually, Rose, is our 350th consecutive night broadcasting. 350th consecutive night of broadcast here tonight. But we continue to do that because we're taking the next step. Yeah, I don't remember what I said 2 nights ago. Because we're taking that next step. And there's so many good things happening. Actually, that's my trivia question for you tonight. Here is my trivia question for you tonight. See if you guys can get this. This has happened for the first time, just happened, I think it was yesterday. Hey, Heather, how are you? For the first time in a year, this happened with, I want to say it's 270 stores. For the first time since last March, all 270 of these are open in the United States. For the first time since last March, all 270 of these in the United States are open. What am I talking about? Think about that for a second. That's tonight's trivia question. In other good news, again, there's lots of good things happening in the world. United Airlines is betting on the future. United's betting that we want to be united, okay? That we want to be together, that we want to travel, that we want to go places, that we want to be places. And United is betting on that so much that they are buying more planes. They have issued orders to buy more planes. Patty Johnson is right there with the news. Patty got tonight's trivia question correct. Kitty got it correct. Okay, I guess it wasn't much of a trivia question. But Apple has been incredibly conservative about having their stores open right now. And in very limited ways, okay? And they have been the first to close down in areas where virus cases have been elevated. So Apple has been the first to close everywhere and the last to open. And so the fact that all 270 Apple stores are open in the United States is good news. The fact that President Biden announced tonight that by the end of May we should be able to vaccinate the entire adult U.S. population is good news, okay? The fact that Johnson & Johnson and Merck, okay, 2 competing companies, are working together. Merck is going to use their facilities to help produce additional Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The fact that 2 companies that are competitors are working together to make and distribute is good news. You know, it doesn't make the world normal at the end of May. It doesn't make your store normal at the end of the May. It doesn't make you whole for the last year. But it is positive steps in a positive direction. It is forward motion here, people. It is moving forward in a positive direction. You know, yeah, we still got to get those shots in people's arms. People still got to be willing to take the vaccine, and you got to educate people, and you got to get people to the vaccine sites. Or get the, you know, just like we've been doing, you got to get the vaccines to them. Okay, you got to go door to door. You know, I mean, send nurses door to door. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's the kind of thing you do, because not everybody can get out. It's not easy for everybody. And, you know, you got to get these out and in people's arms, and that's starting to happen. And it's going to happen over the next few weeks. It's going to be in increasing numbers. So we're headed in the right direction. You know, it's not time to let your guard down. It's not time to say everything's all right. But things are headed the right way. I mean, to make multi-million dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars orders for United to buy more planes, that's huge. Yeah, exactly, Rose. And I'm grateful to be here doing this video, okay? You know, I mean, there have been, you know, dark days in all of this, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you're still standing better than you've ever been, like a true survivor, playing like a little kid. That's what I'm saying here, people. Elton John's got it right. You know, you sing these songs as your anthem. You sing them to help you get out of bed. You sing them to move you forward. As long as I know love, I know I will survive, with Gloria Gaynor, okay? You know, you bring out these songs in your heart, and you live them day to day in your business and in your community. This is how we move forward. This is how we get it. This is how we keep going. And that is exciting stuff, okay? And as we create an even better place for our customers to be, because we are their safe place. You are their safe place. You create this better and better place that the customers want to hang out, they will return when they feel comfortable doing so. And you will be there in any way that they want to be served, whether it's curbside, whether it's in-store, whether it's online, whether it's shipping. However it is that they want to be served, you will be there for them. And I am proud of you for that. I am proud of you for that. There's so much good with that. I got just before I came on tonight, or just a little while ago, I got 102 new pages. Service and the administration. Yes, Rose, we keep on trucking. We keep on trucking. And I look forward to being able to get back out on the road and traverse this great country and visit with people in person. But, so 102 pages I got tonight from our friends at the IRS and the Biden administration on mostly what it looks like, and I have not read all 102 pages yet. I have not even skimmed all 102 pages yet, but I will, on the Employee Retention Tax Credit and clarifications thereof. So 102 pages, which I believe are mostly clarifications. I don't believe there's any major gotchas in there or major changes to anything. That I think it's just updating policy to be consistent with the law that passed at the end of the year. It says and how any effect that it has on you or your business. I am not expecting anything too major in there, but in 102 pages, you can slip a lot of not major things, I guess, in there. So that I'll be reading that. We're also still expecting updates this week, and I am surprised it hasn't dropped yet. And the fact that it hasn't might leave it for the end of the week. I've been all over it from the SBA on their definition in math for sole proprietors and the PPP. So that is still something that we are waiting for. So I know I have many of you anxious to see what's going to happen with that as a sole proprietor and the PPP, and for PPPs that have already been issued. And certainly I am asking the questions, and I am waiting for the math and the forms to drop. So I am actively watching that and keeping an eye on that with all my contacts to make sure that we're on the forefront of taking advantage of that. There is still very little appetite to extend the PPP beyond its March 31st deadline at this point. So we're going to want to get everybody in sooner versus later if you haven't applied already. And if there's any reapplications that need to happen because of the changes, I'll keep you aware of it, because there may be. I just don't know yet. I'm waiting to see, especially for the sole proprietors. I'm waiting to see, because if they change the math moving forward, I'm hoping that they will recalculate existing PPPs, because it's the way they're looking at doing new math. It could be extremely beneficial to you. And I definitely want to make sure that you can take advantage of that and get your share. I like this quote tonight from Simon Sinek. Assign tasks and people will work for you. Assign responsibility and people will work for themselves. Think about that. Assign tasks and people will work for you. Assign responsibility and people will work for themselves. That is a powerful quote. And other news happening. There's a couple of other pieces of miscellaneous news out there that I wanted to keep you up to date on. Kohl's has announced where the first Sephoras at Kohl's will open, and they have 200, I think it's 200 stores opening this year. Yes. They have 200 stores opening across the country this fall. Even one, where's my list here? Even one that's local to us. So in Connecticut is opening, that is close to us. One in Massachusetts. That's not actually the ones that are opening closest to us. We're sort of sandwiched between one in Massachusetts that's close to where we live and one in Connecticut that's close to where we live, but none are close to the stores. But that are opening here, but they're opening 200 across the country. Many in Illinois for our Illinois people, but there's 200 of them that they're planning to get open by this fall. So think back to school time to have Sephora's in Kohl's open. For those of you that look at Carvana, I always think of Carvana as sort of a kitschy, gimmicky thing. And if you've seen one of their car slot machine things, they're, what are they, 11 stories tall? Yeah, they're 11 stories tall. They hold 39 vehicles and serve as an automated fulfillment for your car. It's a gimmicky thing. You put this ceremonial coin in it, and your car drops. they're opening one finally in Las Vegas, which I actually think is a perfect city for a car slot machine. For your car to come down and everything. It's just their first trip to Vegas. Their first trip to Vegas. They're building one of these car towers. If you haven't seen one, you're not really missing anything. It's a gimmick, and you pay for it. But it is interesting to follow that they're opening up in Vegas. What do you contribute to Kohl's success? It's a combination of things, Rose, that makes Kohl successful. Their partnerships is very good. What they've done with Amazon and taking Amazon returns. What they're doing with Sephora is smart and a good idea. What they've done for sustainability in solar projects on their buildings to keep their costs down is smart. Okay, what they do between a mix of store brands and major name brands is smart. And what they do with incentives to get you back in, more than coupons, the Kohl's cash that gets you back in and spending more, okay, they've done very well with. Those are things that are contributing to their success. They certainly, like many department store type retailers, lost money last year, but these things are contributing to their success, and the fact that they've also done well to reduce inventory levels is another thing that contributes to their success. So they are selling more at a better margin. So those are things that contributes to success. Kohl's is a great study. Studying Kohl's is a smart thing, because the whole thing around Kohl's is increased visits. The more times you visit them, the more you will spend. Okay, the majority of their customers are not me. Okay, who tries to get it if we have $20 in Kohl's cash, I want to go spend $20 in there. That's all I want to spend. But the reality is most people spend $50 or $60 in there. On that. Their business moves are smart. I don't like the Kohl's branded products personally. Like, I find their menswear and things to not hold up. I'll go in and I'll buy, get some Izod or Under Armour for men's. Some of that stuff holds up well for me. But if I buy the Kohl's branded items, they just don't hold up well for me, so I avoid them. But the others do well. That's exactly right. The Kohl's cash is only good for a certain period of time, and they are masters at getting the people back in there with it. They really are. They following the science behind that works really well. They do a magnificent job with it. So I do give them credit for that. They have held up very well with that. So I give credit where credit is due on that, and I am very impressed with that. So I can't say enough about their business moves are smart. They've filled a nice niche where other department stores have retreated. I mean, if you look at what Kohl's has built, so it is impressive and something to learn from. So, like you say, it is definitely something to learn from. In case you didn't catch it, Payless is in a retail comeback. Yes, the shoe store gained steam with store openings. The discount footwear retailer will opened its doors yesterday to its first store, and since it closed its 2,500 locations in 2019. The first store, the 4,000 square foot store, is located in North Miami, Florida, home to the company's new headquarters. So the store is being described as a concept store, and they're store looks much more contemporary, and they're back at it. So for whatever that's worth, brand names have value. So you know, in the relaunch of these, you got to keep in mind a lot of these companies were dragged down by bad buyouts. They were bought by companies saddled with debt and unsustainable. They were unsustainable in that form with the debt loads that they carried. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how Payless, you know, does this time around in their relaunch, especially, you know, where footwear sales in general in the U.S. have been down during the pandemic, but that will change as people are able to get out, you know, and be about. So there will be opportunity there. So we'll see where that all goes and how that does, but that is something that is happening right now. Save that. I like this. What are some of the best nicknames for workers at various companies? Moose, wombat, human Z's. These aren't the names of exhibits at the zoo. Rather, they are some of the nicknames that workers at companies have bestowed upon themselves. While some companies have interesting backstories to their company names, others give creative names to their conference room. Employee nicknames are another piece of the corporate nomenclature, one that often gets created by chance but sticks around. And there are plenty. In some cases, the nicknames are based on the company name. For example, the Gurus are the workers for the company Car Gurus. They call themselves Gurus. In others, they've come up with something original. Employees at cybersecurity business Rapid7 have long adopted the name Moose to refer them to themselves, saying it denotes teamwork, and that singular version of the noun is the same as the plural. And, you know, I never thought that there would be people, you know, that their actual job is naming manager. So, who's this person? Oh, Eunice. Eunice is their name. I'm sorry. Who works for CVS Health as a senior strategic naming manager. Said that while employee nicknames are perhaps most common at tech companies, they can be found at all types of companies as a way to build team spirit. When you get into a company culture, part of that process is to take the identity of the people at the company. A name for belonging to the group is a good way to do that. In some companies, large companies can have different nicknames. Google, for example, is known for its Googlers, but people familiar with the internal workings of the tech giant know that there are also Nooglers for new Googlers and Gaglers for the members of the LGBT community and Greyglers for people who joined later in their careers. Even if worker nicknames were created internally, many later become publicly known. And companies might want to have their legal department check on any names if they end up used on swag or someone where they'll be seen outside the company. And people are finding nicknames even more important in the days of remote work. Ah, Cassie, that's good to know. Denim's back in a big way in 2021. Well, I mean, even Target is doing their big promotion with Levi's right now. And has that whole catalog of all denim things. They're doing that whole in-store special with denim. So denim is back in 2021. I'm going to have to get me a denim coat or something. I'm going to have to look swag here. Or cool, or whatever you call it. You know, I will have to play with that and see what I can do with denim. But yes, denim's going to be a thing, you know. So we're going to move from sweatpants to denim. There you go, folks. You heard it here first. Sweatpants to denim. You know what else is going to move? This video and everything that I talk about is going to move right over to narts.org/resalestrong by noon the very next day. Noon, I'm telling you. That's where you find it. That's where you find all the forums and things I talk about, including a direct link to the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store, where you can like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when a new one drops. You can also share it with all your friends in business, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, so we can help everybody get across the finish line. I am here every night at more 8 than ish, live in the Narts private Facebook group. But if you have a question in between, you just email me, Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. Neil at ECIstores.com is where you find me. We start this program every night, with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. Tonight, we are on page 184 tonight. Good morning, courage. Even when there's panic in the back of your throat, courage. Let's go. Our good night tonight is good night. Courage, even when fear is at the foot of your bed. Courage, let's go. There's your graphics, folks. A big lion there. You can face it because you got courage. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I do like a good party, a wedding, a bar mitzvah even. We will party again. We will be in person again. And when we do, I will be there with you. But until then, and until tomorrow night at more 8